Welcome to another episode of There's Insurance for That, your number one destination for all things insurance. We are your hosts. I am Nate Brown.
And I'm Edwin Moreno, and today we're going to be talking about mixing business with pleasure.
That's a heavy one. That's a heavy topic, man. That's a weighted topic right there.
I
Mixing
totally agree. And
business
I
with
think in the
pleasure.
insurance industry, I think it's really heavy in the insurance industry because something I remember talking to someone about was like, oh, you're in insurance, we all drink so much. And I'm like, I'm not really a drinker. Like,
Uh-huh.
that's not my thing. And a lot of people in the insurance industry, that's just kind of what they gravitate towards. It's like,
Mm.
drinking of, kind of like, all right, there's a very stressful day. Let me remove myself from my day. And then you're kind of like you're with the people in the office all the time. And or like the people that you're selling insurance with. And there's just like there's a lot of celebrations because it's like, oh, you
Yeah,
just closed that big account. Like, we just made how much? Oh, shoot. Like, let's all. And so there's a lot of emotions that happen
it's a
in
lot.
insurance. And I think because of that, because then like when you lose a deal, like you could be really, really high, and then you that deal could be like, oh, the payment didn't go through. You know what? It's actually not gonna happen. And that same day, you could be rock
Oh,
bottom.
yeah. Been there. Definitely, definitely. But let's pull the band-aid off the wound. What I mean? We're talking, and most of the times mixing business with pleasure. It's going to be two things that are going to be do not do's. You know what I mean? And maybe makes them into even some other things, but mixing business with pleasure. One thing people find pleasure in is money. You know what I mean? And so you talk to any tax professional, they're going to tell you, do not commingle funds. That's one element to look into. That's a whole nother pod to look into. But, you know, we see it in the insurance business, especially if you build a team or if you're a part of large organizations or have uplines and hierarchies. It's man, things get funny when people start doing funny things with money. Accidents happen. That's one thing. You could be trying to be of integrity and make an accident and financially forget to. I've done it where I wrote a policy with another agent and totally forgot about their upline. And I'm like, oh, shoot, you had an upline? Who is it? They didn't get this override. Oh, I'm sorry. There's things that happen. You find pleasure in the business and you're like, man, I'm hooking somebody up. We're doing deals together. This is cool. But there's certain, ethical things that you just have to make sure of. Keep those conversations open. And then there's the other do not do, especially if you are married or in an active relationship. And let's talk about it. Mixing business with pleasure. The ladies, the men, whatever it is. This industry is very it's always celebratory. Like you say, man, you're on stages, you do something right. Oh, they like to celebrate. Man, you closed a six-figure deal. You did a wow, wow, wow. And as your name is being, it's a lot of praise. It's a lot of praise. At least where I used to come from, and even where I'm at now, there's a lot of praise and a lot of celebration. I think that breeds the culture of the business. But like anything, also, if you're not careful, you can either get your head inflated, you know what I mean? It can happen to the best of us, right? Or all of a sudden you start to be a little bit more appealing than usual to somebody of the I'm most of the time opposite sex, so I know this day and age things are different, but you know what I mean? Somebody who you're not in a relationship with. And I will be honest and transparent on here. Even though I knew better in the wrong circumstances situation, I have mixed business with pleasure in the insurance business, in the agency that did not end well at all. You know what I mean? Somebody can say, well, shoot, where did it stem from? Where did it begin? How did this happen? It happened when you cross boundaries. Honestly, you work with people for a long time, several years. You'll get to know each other's families, friends. You'll get to become very close. And even in 9 to 5 settings, you spend a lot of time more hours with people you work with than the people who you marry to.
Well, like you've seen those jokes, it's like, oh, who's your work wife? Who's your work husband? Like
All that
there's
stuff.
like
Yeah.
that was going viral for a while. Like people like,
Yeah.
and it's not true. It makes like that was happening and that can happen where it's like I see this person more than I see my partner. I see this
Yeah.
person more like I see this person more than I see my partner. And so yeah, like just naturally like a relationship starts to form, a bond starts to develop.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, what you said is really good, like boundaries. Like if you don't have a boundary for that relationship,
Yeah. And sometimes you don't even know. You know what I mean? You did
right?
it just kind of over time, it just the lines blur. You know what I mean?
Well, you're not, I'm gonna tell you something. Well, I'll also, I don't want to leave you alone. I've succumbed to mixing business with pleasure myself.
Hmm.
And so I'm it's and I don't know how many people are, I mean, who knows? But ultimately it was difficult for me to admit that. And also, and I'll ask you this question, was it hard for you to like, I mean, not hard, but like what made you make the choice of like this isn't what I want? Because you could have stuck to that. You could have been like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep doing this because that's what I want to do. But you chose to be like, no, I want to be a family. I mean, that's why I rock with you. That's why we're doing this.
I
Like, I
mean,
see your values. I see like I'm just by talking to you and connecting with you, like I see what matters to you, and it's family, you know, and it's
yeah.
and just that foundation is something that I believe a lot in, and I only want to surround myself with people like that. If you were like, yo, I'm messing around, I'm here, I got this, I would have been like, man, Nate, I mean, we wouldn't even be doing this, you
It
know?
always was a conviction in my mind and in my heart because that's not the fiber of who I am. You know what I mean? I consider myself a Christian, a God fearing, God loving person. You know what I mean? It just at I'm telling you, the enemy's patient too. He'll wait. He'll wait and just wait. And so it just so happened to be at a point where again, I was in a zone locked in where there was a lot of praise and a lot of admiration and things like that. And at that moment or that phase, it was I wasn't getting that at home. At home, you're just regular schmegular. Hey, you just you. No celebration of what you're doing. You're working hard, you're closing cases, you're paying bills, you're doing all kind of strategic things and coming up with stuff. You're awesome at work. At home, you're regular. You're just regular husband, regular dad. And eventually I started to feel more appreciated in the business than I was at home. It's like, oh, you
Mm,
just pay bills here, but you're not valued. And that era and that season, that ugly season in my relationship, in my marriage, it left room to, man, this feels good over here. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just put my focus more over here, and in the process of that, I'm just focus more on the business. That's when the boundaries start to get kind of mixed in, and so even the strongest people I say the enemy will find you at your weakest moment. You know what I mean?
damn.
I had a Will Smith smack Chris Rock moment. It was like man, it was bad. And to answer your
So what
question,
woke you up? What was it
but,
that
but
woke you up? Was it what like what woke you up?
I wish I could say what woke me up was my conscience woking me up. And no, what woke me up as I got caught. I'm just
Oh,
being honest. It was ugly.
real.
World War III.
Mm,
Boom.
mm,
And unfortunately, that wake up makes you evaluate, whoa, you know what I mean? Like your integrity, your name. Is this what I'm about to be known for? Am I about
mm,
to mess up? I pride myself in the family I've built. Am I about to blow it right now?
right,
You know what I mean? And did I really, am I thinking the grass is green? Like, what the heck are you doing, Nate? Like, you know what I mean?
right,
It was one of those like, whoa,
right.
like hone this in. Like, what the heck are you doing? Like this ain't it. This ain't you. And then in the course of that, once you have that conversation, things implode within your business. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, let's
that,
talk about that. What, yeah, let's talk because that's a great, I love that connection. 'Cause I mean, I'm relating. It's like once because your home is your foundation,
yeah,
right? So it's like for me, my home is my foundation. So my home being my foundation, as soon as that collapses, it's like everything else around my life starts to collapse.
yeah,
Because it's like and I remember wondering, like, man, what's going on? Like, I was like, oh, like my boundaries. Like, I had no boundaries. I had no, like, I didn't have a solid foundation. Like, I did not have a solid foundation, and I allowed these cracks to just get wider and wider and wider and wider. I paid no, like, I also take ownership of not paying any attention to like what was happening to my foundation. And
yeah,
so being aware, like, and because I agree with you, man, it's like I wish it was me being like, oh, hold on a second, no, like let me fess up, let me just like let me try to like do this, like no, like it was a slip up, and that's what made everything collapse, and it's
mhm,
and it could go, it's interesting because it could go one of two ways. It's like my way, it was like we split up completely. I mean, we have a good relationship, we have like, we have a good relationship. We've raised an awesome daughter. Um, and at the
yeah,
same time, it's yeah, man, it's one of these things where like my career, I was questioning if I wanted to keep doing insurance. There was a lot that was just like happening. Yeah, I'm still doing insurance. It's like but like what happened? Like,
yeah.
so what did you notice that like cracked? Or like what was a domino effect?
Man, where do I begin with that? I
Yeah.
mean, for one, for it was just bad. It was just bad all the way around. You know what I mean?
Did you have to close down your business and then restart it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Essentially, I did. Yeah, I
Yeah.
left. Had to go to a completely different IMO. Like I said, God don't like ugly. That same time, my business Facebook stuff, ad everything got hacked. It was like you reap what you sow. Like the repercussions of your sin was all just boom, 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 uppercut. I mean, house was a war zone. You know what I mean? It was like, man, and it sucks to try to rebuild trust. As I've heard it say, you lose trust in a bucket, just all of this pour it out and you earn it back in drops. And that's even if the person is even willing to
Willing.
forgive. Like those are usually, like you said, those are usually the points of no return. These are usually deal breakers that stay broken. You know what I mean? And so it's still a sensitive topic to a degree. I mean, me personally, I had to deal with me. You know what I mean? So I know that I'm I'm never to be on old stuff like that. I what I mean, sometimes you don't you live and you learn. You know what I mean? Like you learn, you fall off your bike, oh, I'm not gonna make that turn that sharp no more. You got the scars to
Right.
prove it. Like I got the scars to be like, I ain't never doing this bull crap no more. You know what I mean? Like this some
Right.
bull crap. Like you almost risk it all, you know what I mean, for some bull crap. And so I'm like, nah, this ain't it. And so it for me, it woke me up, but then it gives my wife a different perception of the business. You know what I mean? Before she was just like, oh, he's just doing his thing, and yeah, I wanted it's like the thing you want the praise to come from that one, but but when it's not in that world, you know what I mean, then it is what it is. And so it's certain things that we both learned in the process of like for example, when we have these conventions and stuff like that, she come with me.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like, even I know you don't like the insurance world, ain't your thing, but
Right.
just gotta be just to let the hoes know, hey, this ain't it. This my wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, just
Right.
keep it a buck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, even if you thought about being on some book, I ain't on it, and she definitely ain't on it, and we to say so. Everybody fall the heck back. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so
Right.
it's just different ways that you have to learn how to move. You know what I mean?
But
But
that's a dope way of mixing business with pleasure. That's that's a positive way. of mixing,
Yeah,
and
that's
I
a
think
good one.
that's what's cool. Like you've evolved. Bro, I'm taking notes from you. Like last time I think we met, you mentioned about like going to a trip in Orlando and bringing the family. Like you were doing your conference, family was at the pool, they were doing their
Family was
thing, they're
there.
like doing, but it's like like man, like it feels good to know my family's here with me. Like my family's, and that feels that's there's pleasure in that. Like there's so much
Yeah,
pleasure in knowing my family's having a good time here. And then you meet them and they're like smiling, they're having a good time. You go get food or you do like whatever, you cook together, whatever it is, but like you're doing family things and you're mixing your business with pleasure.
yeah. That's
It's
the right way to do it.
well,
Yeah,
that's
that's
right. I
that's
mean,
the yeah, like you said, that's the good way to do it. You know what I mean? Yes, it can be, it's more expensive, it's more this, and it gets a little crazy with that because, I'm in convention all day.
right.
They're fun all day. Of course, I would love to be capturing some of that fun with them too, but they also get to see, daddy's business, husband's business brings these trips around that we're able to enjoy. So it's also I can enjoy some of the fruits of my labor with them, or even if they know daddy's at work, or daddy's going to rap at this conference, or daddy's going to get some award. They get to see, I mix the business with pleasure because they get to see what I do, or and they kind of see, oh, this is kind of daddy's world, with the insurance game. So that, bringing them along is definitely a good way to mix business with pleasure. And I learned that from seeing other people ahead of me do it from time to time. I mean,
Mm,
shout out to Chris Cook. I've seen him do that. I've seen a couple, and I know everybody can. I mean, like again, it's like one flight or four. It gets pricey. You know what I mean?
right,
Feeding yourself
right,
or feeding
right.
four, it gets like, oh shoot. But you know what I mean? It does. If you're able to do it, it's a good thing to do. Um, and it's just fun. It's just one of them things, man. Because as much as I've seen it, I left another company because my mentor mix business with pleasure in that same
Mm,
area, with someone who was a close friend of my wife's best friend, actually, a cousin of my wife's best friend. And that business with pleasure is what caused me to leave that business at one point, in my first hurrah in the insurance industry. And so, who would have known? And I don't know what was going on in his personal life at that time. Is you know what I mean? What
right.
boundaries were going on? What zones was happening there that would bring that? But here's the difference: when I addressed him about it, it was before I let him know that I know, no, no, it was like almost an element of arrogance about it. Like you say, like it wasn't like, hey man, I'm out here doing my thing out here. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like
Right.
he was almost coming off like that when I first addressed him, like, oh, when you start making money, man, this chick start liking you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, really, bro? That's how we gonna do this? You talking
Mm,
all this? Big speeches in the meetings, and then this how you roll. So I was like, nah, man, I know, no, no. I know all the way
right.
no. And then he was like, oh man, oh, I'm sorry. And so it's just one of them things, man. Women, men, it can happen, but you got to be locked in with your boundaries. So I would say if you're gonna, it's a way to do it. If you're single and you happen to find somebody that you're in business with and y'all visions, align and things like that, and your morals, and hey, go for it. But if you're in a committed relationship and you're in business, I'm telling you right now, mixing business with the wrong kind of pleasure will implode your business. You know what I mean? It will implode. So just lock in your boundaries, have an accountability partner, something. You know what I mean? Somebody who you can talk to about things you're experiencing, or just to keep things in check. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's
Yeah.
that's that's my tidbit. You know what I mean on
Yeah.
that. And I haven't seen anybody mix business with pleasure that was in a committed relationship that ended well.
Me neither. And it's crazy.
You're right.
There's a statistic. I'm sure I'm one of them, right? It didn't end well. Like it just doesn't. There's a statistic that 85% of millionaires are married, or like 80, like over 80%. Let's say over 80% are married. They're married in a committed relationship that's been like for over 20 years or something like that. Like a very like
Hmm.
a strong. So this number isn't really like, I don't know why it's not blasted out there that much. It's like everyone talks
Right.
about like, oh, all marriage ends 50% divorce. Like everyone talks about like the breakups, but we don't talk about that successful people have a strong foundation at home. That's what I get from that statistic. If
Yeah.
85% of millionaires are married, that tells me that successful individuals have boundaries and have committed relationships because if things are stable with yourself and in your home, then everything else kind of like aligns with that. So it's
Yeah.
like I saw that stat and it was really it was inspiring, man, because it really like just led me to recognize like how much I understand I want to mix business with pleasure and I want my wife to be involved. Like I want my wife to be a part of that process and I want her to be
Yeah.
like I want to be teamed up with her in like what I'm building and sometimes and I think that's the maybe like I'll speak for myself. That's been my challenge of also finding how to speak her language
Mm.
because she doesn't see insurance the way that I see insurance. She
Yeah.
doesn't see like, I have an empanada business. We got pocket like, like, we have something else that we do, and she doesn't see that as like the same way that I see it. She might see different aspects of it. She might see, and so there's this like there's a way that I also need to see, all right, wait a minute. Like, what about this? Does she like? Does she even like this?
Yeah.
Like, is there a way that she can be involved? How can I let her know, hey, I want you to be involved with this? That's been one of the hardest conversations. It's like just being honest with her. Like, I want your help. Like, I want you to be involved in this. And her kind of being like, I don't know. And then me being like, I know, like, but I want to make this work. Like, we're together. We want to stay together, right? So we need to keep building and growing and evolving. And our business, what we do to kind of like pay the bills, like, that's a part of us. No matter how much we don't want it to be, it's a part of us.
It is. It is. And I think you said something really good right there. Like for people who may be struggling in this area, it's funny. This came up in a couples panel at the last convention, and somebody said, "What do you do if your spouse is unsupportive of what you're doing, especially when you get started, you broke, you don't know what you're doing." Somebody in the far right said, "Leave."
Dang!
Somebody just yelled it out, "Leave." I was like, oh, they said it with their chest.
Yeah, they're mad about
Really
something.
bad.
Something happened,
Yeah.
right?
And I mean, I'll give one of my old mentors, Master Paula, in this situation, he did. You know what I mean? And when he did realign with Sheena out of the business, took off. You know what I mean? That's one area. Now, I'm not saying that, but what you said, try to find a way to include, you know what I mean, if you're able to include your significant other in your business to make it pleasurable. Hey, it may not be the phone calls or the things you might not like. It may be, hey, let me hold the camera while you start posting some content. Let me be your camera
Right.
woman, maybe a cameraman. Let me be your something. But one thing I can encourage everybody who may have an entrepreneur as a wife or a husband, praise them. It's hard being an entrepreneur. Don't let
Mm,
somebody else from the field give more praise to your spouse than you. That
mm.
right there, yeah, do
You
that.
know, and I want to, it just kind of like to play this, because there's a way I think people, and I'll speak for myself, like hearing the word praise, I get this like, my initial gut reaction is like, oh, but like, what do you mean by praise? Like, what if,
Admiration,
right,
celebration,
right. Because I know, right,
appreciation. That's
there
more
you
like
go. Right. I
appreciation.
agree.
That's
Like,
what it
well, no,
is.
it's like because because like it's like even though that's my initial gut reaction, what I said when I processed what you said, it was like see them, like see what they're doing,
Yeah.
like acknowledgement, like some kind of acknowledgement of like, yo, I see you're working hard, like man, you're killing it right now, like or like, hey, like I noticed you're frustrated today, like what happened, like how was the day, like I don't sometimes I don't want to talk about it, like Hillary will ask me, and I don't want to talk about it in the moment. But I end
Hmm.
up talking about it, and I'm
Yeah.
grateful that that question was asked and that I'm being seen, like just
Yeah.
acknowledged, for like for the effort that's being done. And I I mean, I agree with that, man. It's like don't let the outside, because it's like I live with you, right? Like we live together. So
Yeah,
like why would the outside world see me more than you? Like
yeah.
that's, and vice versa, like
And even if they see it, let me make this clear to anybody watching this. It matters more when you get it from the people you do it for.
right,
Like, I don't go and sell insurance for the team. I
right,
don't do it for the carriers. They
right,
cool, but we ain't that cool.
right,
I do it for my family. You know what I
right,
mean? So I would much rather hear the thank yous or the I appreciate yous or hey, I know you up late night working on this ad for us types. I would rather hear the admiration from them, not uh an agent or somebody else like, oh, you're really doing this. Like, that's cool. But man, so don't and once you've been doing it for a while, it's easy for like anything, people to take it like, oh, that's just what they do. They're like, no, it's a grind. It's
yeah,
work. Like this is a labor of love. We lose sleep. We get rejected often by clients before we get a yes. You know what I mean? It's a lot of emotional work and stability we got to maintain
I
to
agree.
do this business. Because I mean, one no or one ugly situation can almost knock you out. You know what I mean? And so it's good to get that admiration and that appreciation from your significant other or the people that you're doing it for, not necessarily the people you're doing it with, if that makes any
Right.
sense.
No, it
Yeah,
makes perfect
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that makes perfect sense. I totally agree. I totally agree.
Yeah. No, in your case, I don't know if it was similar. When you crossed that line, what do you feel was the catalyst for the slippery slope? I know mine, I felt like I was having a void that someone else was trying to fill. You know what I mean? And it's just interesting because I had a point earlier in my career where somebody else tried to do the same thing, try to Snapchat me and send me risque photos, and I was like, "What you doing? Nah, this literally that. What you doing? Oh, I'm so sorry. Nah, I get it. I've been young and dumb and crazy too, whatever. But this ain't what it is. Because if I
Right.
was to cave into that and then do what I do, and then you want to bring that same energy to work, and you're young, you want to let everybody know like, I did something with such and such, and next you know, blow up the business, the marriage, the relationship. And I've said all this to this person then, where I
Right.
was full and I was strong. Then it just so happened to be years later, I'm at a weak moment. I'm at a crushing moment, and that a very similar situation presents itself in a different way still. It's about who I've known for years and caved in and still implosion.
Right.
And you
Yeah,
lose a
right.
lot. You lose more than money. You lose integrity. You know what I mean? Just you lose so much. Like you have to shift everything. You know what I mean? You lose more than you ever thought you would gain with mixing business with pleasure that way. You will. So I'll just want to encourage somebody, learn from somebody else's mistakes. Don't do it. Do not do it. Do not do it.
But here's my thing. Here's my thing too, though. And if you are gonna do it, like be real about it. Like just like let your partner know, hey, things aren't working out. I mean, here's the thing, because it's like there's one thing like retaining, containing, like I would say retaining and being like, I'm gonna hold on to this. No, I'm not gonna. But there's another thing like being like, hey, I'm not gonna do this, and there's something that wants, like, I want to do this, and I'm not addressing something at home that's
Mm.
that's that's pushing me to do this.
So you're saying have that communication instead of suffering in silence or being slippery in silence. Like
Exactly. Because
just
that's where I came. That's what I learned from it.
Mhm.
That like what you said, it didn't start right away. It was like a small, like it was a progression. It was a daily, weekly, monthly,
Yeah,
annually thing that just opened up suddenly. Because
yeah,
same thing, like we had just had she had just had our daughter, our first daughter, and I was there, I was home for like 3 months, and then we're together and stuff, and then I have to go to work, and I'm swamped. I'm at work all day, right?
yeah,
And there's like a lack of like oh, like, how was your day? Like, what's going on? Or like, there's really no communication about that. It's just very like closed off and just kind of like, hi, bye, okay, yeah. Like, there was just, there was, and I knew I was craving more and I wasn't completely honest about that.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't honest about it. Like I was just kind of like, I mean, bro, I'll speak, as a man of color in this world, I've been taught to just like suffer, to just like
Uh-huh.
suffer, hold it in, and just know that this is how it is, right? Because of the way you look and because of who you are, and you got to deal with it. Like you just got to deal with
Yeah.
it because like that's it. And so growing up with that mentality of stoicism, and let me just let me carry the cross, let me carry this pain with me, let me carry this sadness, let me carry all this stuff that I know is piling up.
Yeah.
I'm not communicating it with the people closest to me. I'm gonna find a way to like escape my reality. Like I'm gonna look for a way to distract myself from the things that I feel like aren't where I want them to be.
Yeah.
Because at least this is something that I know I can do, and this is someone who sees me, and but if they don't, that person wasn't really seeing me either, because
That part.
if they saw me, they would have been like, bro, like you have a family, like you like doesn't that matter? Like they weren't seeing me. They only cared about themselves and they cared about what they wanted to get out of it. And and,
Yes.
and so it's really, I'm gonna say that it was just me not communicating where I was at and being, and because it's scary to communicate that stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's like so
Definitely.
funny. I work so hard to avoid a conversation, and no matter what, it ends up happening what I'm trying to avoid. Like what I'm trying to avoid from happening ends up happening
Mm-hmm.
because
So
I
tough
avoided it because I
miscommunication.
wasn't willing to confront it and be like, hey, let's there's something we need to talk about. Like this is uncomfortable
Yeah.
for me, but like this is what's going on. I feel this close from doing something, and I don't want to because I care about you and I love you, right?
Yeah.
And just saying that, like what I wonder what that would have done. And at the same time, like now I'm in a position where I'm grateful that I know that and that
Yeah.
it's like I want to be open and transparent about like where I'm at. Like for example, this like mixing business with pleasure, having my partner be a part of my business. That's what I want. So I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest with her about it. Like this is what I want. This is what instead of me being like, oh man, I wish I had that. I wish I had that. And I'm just saying that, and then
Yeah.
I run into someone that's like, oh, I'll help you with everything. I'll be there. Oh, I could do that for you. I could do this. Bro, it's
Yeah.
easy for people to say that stuff, but then when you're in the nitty-gritty of it, it's not that
Yeah.
easy.
It's not. It's not. And a lot of times people that are like that, unless they really just got a heart for the business or whatever, is usually a hidden agenda or you know what I mean? It's a hidden agenda behind their motive for wanting to be that ride or die support type person or individual. It's a hidden agenda. Like you said, they're thinking about them. You know what I mean? Essentially, they're not thinking of, hold on, let me think of his situation, his integrity, his morals, his. They're not thinking that. They're not thinking that at all. You know what I mean? And so, you, man, I hate to just say you live and you learn, but you do, man. And you like where you're speaking from now. I hate to say that with losses come lessons, and them lessons are part of maturity. You know what I mean? Now we're at a maturity place where we're gonna have. I would much rather have the uncomfortable conversation than the uncomfortable consequence. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like I
Yes.
will much have the conversation
Oh,
over the
yeah,
consequence.
yeah, or uncomfortable explanation. Like uncomfortable like
Yeah,
like just like shame, the uncomfortable shame of
yeah,
like of like damn, like I should have, I could have just talked about this, and
shame. Yeah.
right, that's what it is, man. It's like that shame that's there because why is there shame? Because we I know it was something I shouldn't have done. I know it's something I shouldn't be doing. So there's
Oh,
shame
it's
there,
shame. It's
you
big
know?
shame because people want to know for one, what happened? What happened to Nate? What happened to this? What happened to the infinite banquet? What happened? He just disappeared into thin air. And you trying to you know, trying to hide, trying
You're
to
like, no, don't see me, no pictures, no pictures,
shame.
please, no
I mean,
pictures.
so you got moral shame, business shame, spiritual shame, marital shame, family shame, financial shame, strain. You're like, dang, all that was a byproduct? Yes, it is.
Yes.
So don't do it. So we tell you what not
Hey,
to
and
do.
if you're gonna, hey, and if you're gonna do it, own up to it. Like if you're gonna do it, own up to it. Like
Stand
that's
on your,
it. Like own up to it. We're at
yeah,
we're at time.
we're at time. Yeah. I think that was good, man.
Yeah, we're at time. I mean,
What
I look.
one thing I want to drop in. We touched on it, but if you are going to mix another way, if you are going to mix business with pleasure, just find pleasure in your business. Like enjoy doing what you do. Like keep it at that. Like enjoy doing what you do. And yes, it's cool to be with like-minded people who also enjoy doing what you're doing, and just keep it at that. Establish boundaries early. Like, you know what I mean? If you're in a committed situation, establish those boundaries early. Let it clearly be known. How do you do that? Man, bring your significant other in conversations. You know what I mean? Talk good about them, uplift them behind her back. You know what I mean? Like, oh, my wife just cooked me this, or my husband just, oh, he does this. And they probably, why you talking about your wife? Because that's who I live with. That's who I love. That's the mother of my, you know what I mean? Like, hey, like let in subtle ways just to keep the boundary there. You know, you start talking bad about your significant other to somebody of the opposite sex, you might as well just put quicksand under your feet. You're just
Mm,
flirting with, the inevitable happening if you don't, cut that out. So find pleasure in your business and yeah, I think we said enough.
yeah, no, I'm with you, man. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
So again, thank you all for watching another episode of There's Insurance for That. I hope you learned something. I know we did. And
Yeah,
God bless you all. Stay tuned for the next episode. We'll see you then. Peace.
peace.